Today, my friends, I want to jump on the bandwagon and talk about the news that Dynasty Warriors is abandoning open world, thankfully. The producers said that it probably won't happen for another numbered title, but still wants to try it. Keyword, probably, so it's unlikely that it will happen again. I just want to say that open world is probably the stupidest thing they could do with this series if they carried on doing it. For Dynasty Warriors 10, but I think in general, for starters, it's not a fictional setting and neither is the story. In more of the interview, it's talked about the story and how they don't really have any bigger plans to change it, from what I gathered. Who on earth wants a game with the same story and the same environments? Most people would probably abandon the series if the maps in each of the games are exactly the same for each battle, so why would you want the same open world? It's not like the Battle of Jing Province is suddenly going to go and be up north above the Great Wall of China, and it doesn't help the majority of the battles in Dynasty Warriors 9 were in the top half of the map. That's just what happened historically, and you know, the bottom half of the map was so barren, nobody's going to want to fight over all the crap that's there anyway. One argument I have actually seen people put forward for keeping the open world is that it's progression. I'm not really sure what people mean by progression, unless they mean they're referring to Koei progressively losing more and more of the fans. How is that in any way progression? Every mainline Dynasty Warriors, with the exception of Dynasty Warriors 6 and Dynasty Warriors 2, have been fine in terms of overall reception, with the main example of criticisms being it's too much like the game before, especially Dynasty Warriors 8, but all of those games are considered at least good on some level as standalone titles. Never have I seen so many people come out to destroy a game like Dynasty Warriors 9. It was Koei's chance to redefine the series, and yet they ballsed it up. Are you really telling me releasing a game like this is better than the previous ones? I find it utterly laughable anybody would think that, especially when the English voices are complete dog shit. Progression? Are you fucking kidding me? The one thing I've also seen people seem to think, it's just a mindset people have, they think it's either open world or absolutely fuck all. Apparently those are the only options available. I mean, Koei could do whatever they want, and I actually think, although they have all these, you know, customer surveys and all this and that, and what you'd like to see from the series, they should just fucking ignore them. I mean, what is the point, especially when your Japanese fans are the only ones you listen to anyway? Like, the amount of time people must have wasted, you know, filling out those surveys just to, you know, just ignore it. I think it was the creators of Ruby, you know, Red, White, Blue, Yellow, whatever it's called, you know, the animated series. They said people that criticise the series, they do give some valid criticisms, but the way it's worded makes you just want to ignore it. And I think that's probably the situation Koei are probably finding themselves in. Kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, I'm really harsh on this series, and kind of think for good reason, because their DLC practices are just, you know, awful, and the last couple of games haven't been that good. They can do whatever they want. Like, one thing they could have done is just have, like, castle towns which you can go and explore. That would be like your open world. You can just make them as big or small as you want. It might be a bit difficult for Shu because they don't really have a homeland until about Chengdu. So that would be your exploration. You don't need the battles to be open world, because they were, honest to God, the most awful thing. Think about the worst aspects of Dynasty Warriors. It's always travelling from one place to another, and they just, you know, exacerbated that problem like tenfold. The thing is, the producer said he was disappointed with the results it got, but he also said there was some praise of the game. I can't find the exact quote, but two of the things they said were the graphics, which is, you know, that's kind of debatable whether or not it was actually good graphics, and the other one was the exploration. You don't have to have a massive open world. You could have, like, these, you know, cut off areas and do whatever you want with, and then you link, you know, better item systems and all that to those. I generally can't remember where I was going with this, but yeah, that's one way they could do it. Literally, those were the only two things that people thought were good about it, or at least the ones he wanted to mention. Like, it didn't say the combat system was good, didn't openly say the open world was good, because exploration could literally mean anything, and also graphics is not linked to open world. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, really. The thing is with open world is, for most games, it's either down two paths, You either have a character-driven story, so something like Fallout, and not the best example because number 3 isn't that good, neither is 4. But something like Fallout New Vegas is your sole character story, and then it's got such decent writing that you can pick your own path and stuff. The other type of open world game is usually like superhero one, so like Batman games, Spider-Man, even something like Gravity Rush, and it's more about the exploration and all these small details you can do, and you can go and help people, and you have like side quests and all this and that. I don't really think it fits the Dynasty Warriors formula. You could go down the the character story driven one with, if you had it something like Samurai Warriors Chronicles 3, where you play as an edit officer and you join one of the factions, Wei Wuxu, maybe even join the other officers, make you one Sha big power, just make a load of nonsense story for that. I think that's one way it could have worked, but just the open world in Dynasty Warriors 9 was just such complete nonsense. I mean, you could go into Chengdu as a Wei officer and they would just be like, "Hi, how you doing?" It's like it was a war, but yeah, everybody was friends and you never actually got attacked outside of the battles. It's just like complete nonsense. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to say about this. It's just, I honestly think it's a good thing that they're sort of abandoning it and not really. It has to be something they learn from. I think they have to also learn that they need to put more effort into the games. One thing you could say about this series is that it only matters what the fans like or whatever, but a massive portion of people aren't the kind of sad wankers that go onto a forum, watch a discussion video, etc. They're just casual consumers. They'll read or watch a review, and that will essentially be it. Remember, not everyone has disposable income, and they maybe want to spend their money on something good or something they're actually going to get their money's worth out of. So they'll watch a review or read a review, and that'll be it essentially. And when a game gets called by people like Jim Sterling, somebody who's vehemently defended this series, and they see a video called "The Worst Dynasty Warriors Ever," and it ends up on many top 10 worst games of 1840 or whatever year this game came out, that's going to put them off. That's what really hurts the series, fans leaving and not coming back. What's the saying? It takes a second to lose someone, but a lifetime to gain somebody. And I think the trust in Koei is hitting rock bottom. I mean, the Fairy Tail game came out and, most people thought it was kind of good. But before the game even came out, they were talking about character DLC. Like, they literally said there's 4 characters coming out as DLC. The season pass is like 80 quid, and it's only got costumes which are worse than the ones you can get in game. Why would you trust a company like that? And for this title, Dynasty Warriors 9, was supposed to celebrate 20 years since the conception of the franchise. It certainly didn't seem like anything to celebrate, considering the dogshit level surface presentation. I think that's what lost a lot of people. I fail to see how people are so in favour of open world, considering the whole game is like the total opposite of what Dynasty Warriors is. Like, they're fans of this series, so they must have had something that had drawn them in, but the whole open world is now being ditched. It's all, "I'm not going to buy the games anymore." Then don't buy them. Much like how people saw open world and fucked off, mostly helped by, bad reviews on day one. I like how that's the breaking point too. I'm not going to buy the games anymore, but happily support their season passes that are more expensive than the games they're attached to. At the end of the day, none of it matters. There was a survey last month released to both Western and Japanese fans. Well, I would say it is actually worth doing those things. It was more about what pre-ordered DLC you wanted to see in future, and what previous games you'd played, and the Japanese survey actually had extra questions implying their opinions are worth more, even though since Ken's Shit Heap 2, the sales of both sides of the fan base have actually been, somewhat equal. Actually, the rest of the world have actually apparently been outselling the Japanese market, so, go for the minority opinion. I haven't really got much else to say. I'm just kind of thankful they're leaving open world, but it also means we're going to have to wait ages for another decent Dynasty Warriors. Probably, God, I'll be fucking fossilised in the ground by the time they actually release a decent Dynasty Warriors if they don't get out of this, release first, fix later thing. That was actually another bit of the interview. They said it costs money to release free updates, which, but then he also said they released the free updates alongside DLC, which is actually something I said quite a while ago, and people got all up in arms that I said that. oh, fair play, they're releasing free updates. It's like, yeah, it's literally to get you back into playing the game so they can resell you more DLC. There needs to be an attitude change in this, I say community. I mean, everybody was hating each other when the game first came out, you know. People reading Steam reviews because apparently they were bad, and then their defense was, I enjoy the game, which isn't actually a defense. I love that defense. Oh, I enjoy the game, so it must be good. It's like, no, literally not like that. People played Sonic 2006, like speedrunners played Sonic 2006 and enjoy it. Doesn't mean it's good. Literally everybody on the planet thinks that's a bad game, even the people that fucking enjoy it. It's... Actually, somebody did say, oh, that's such a poor argument. It's like, and then literally never debunked it. Okay. Go on then. Just... absolute nonsense. I'm thankful the open world is going. I think it had to be a learning experience for Koei. There's probably more I wanted to say, but I don't get this attitude of it's either open world or the old formula. I mean, you could literally have a mix and match. You could have open world areas of like castle towns and the old battlefields. You could have even bits of the battlefields where you just go and pick up resources and bits to explore. They just need to put more effort into what they're doing. We as fans and them as a company have become just so complacent with the whole formula. It's not as if like Dynasty Warriors 8 was bad. It's just that, you know, it gets a bit tiring when you don't have that much like surface level progression, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think they just need to learn. And I mean, if open world was so good, why did they release Warriors Orochi 4, which actually had the old formula? I mean, that game wasn't exactly the best in the world, but I mean, it's obviously what people wanted. You know, that shovel out their apology game. Although I actually think that was kind of more damaging to the franchise as a whole, just releasing, you know, unfinished, unspell checked shit. So thank you very much. This was mostly unscripted, but yes, thank you very much for watching if you did, and I will see you with a review in the next couple of days. Bye bye.